Welcome to JLM University. My name is Alex, and in this video I'm going to be teaching you how to replace your brushless propulsion motor on your power pole move trolling motor. These steps are universal and will cover both models, the PV and the ZR. For a list of recommended tools, please see the description below. And of course, make sure before working on your power pole move, you always turn the power to the motor off before doing any repairs. Now that the power has been disconnected, we're going to use our 9/16 ratchet and remove the prop. Once you have it broken free with your 9/16, go ahead and take your finger and completely remove the prop. Alright, now that you have the prop nut out, be careful when you pull this off as there is a pin that's going to fall out. So make sure you catch that. If the pin is still in place, simply remove it by hand. The next step, we're going to take our number 2 Phillips screwdriver and remove the 4 screws that hold the rear cap on the motor. Now use your hand to pry the nose cone away from the motor housing. Now with the nose cone separated, if you are working on a transducer model, go ahead and disconnect the transducer cable. Next, we're going to use our number 2 screwdriver to remove the screw holding the ground wire to the propulsion circuit board. Before removing the positive wire from the propulsion circuit board, remember to reinstall the ground screw to the terminal to prevent twisting and potentially damaging the circuit board. Now that we have the ground screw reinstalled, we can safely remove the positive wire from the circuit board without damaging it. Now with the power wires removed from the circuit board, we can let the nose cone rest with the wires still in place. Now we can use our 3/32 Allen key to remove the 4 Allen screws holding the circuit board to the motor. Now that the 4 Allen screws are out, we can use our needle nose pliers to remove the propulsion circuit board. To prevent damage to the propulsion circuit board, it is very important that you grab from the center contact port with your needle nose pliers. Now that the propulsion circuit board is out, we can remove the spacer along with the 3 thermal interface materials. Now to remove the skeg, gently tap with a rubber mallet to remove it off the bottom of the motor. Use the rubber mallet to tap the transducer out away from the motor towards the nose cone. Now to remove the brushless motor, we're going to totally pull the nose cone free, and then we are going to actually deploy the trolling motor and raise it up. Now that your power pole move is deployed, use your rubber mallet to tap the bottom edge on the shaft side of the motor. As you're tapping the motor free, make sure you're supporting the weight with your other hand to prevent it from falling. Now we are ready to install the brushless propulsion motor. Make sure that the 3 contact ports are facing downwards when lining up the tracks with your hand. Once you get the tracks started, use a rubber mallet to tap the motor all the way on. Now we are ready to install our transducer. Line up the tracks with the bottom of the propulsion motor. Start it with the end of the transducer cable going towards your other power cables coming out of the motor. And now gently tap with the rubber mallet on the closed end of the transducer. Make sure that the transducer is now flush with the edge of the propulsion motor. Now we are ready to install our skeg. Make sure that the flat edge is facing towards the motor shaft. Use your mallet to tap the edge of the skeg to where it is flush with the brushless motor. Alright, now we're ready to install our spacer frame. Make sure that the actual spacers go into the holes around the contact ports. Now that we have the spacer frame in place, we can line up our 3 thermal interface materials. These three thermal interface materials are important to have in place as they will help protect the circuit board from any potential overheating issues. Now we are ready to install our propulsion circuit board. Line up your contact ports with the 3 holes that you see at the edge of the circuit board. Now we are ready to secure the propulsion circuit board. Remember to use your torque wrench and to tighten down to the listed torque specs that can be found in the instructions. Now we're ready to reconnect our power and ground wire to the propulsion circuit board. We still have the ground screw in place to prevent any twisting between the boards when we tighten them. Make sure before you put your screw on, you still have your lock washer in place. We are going to reconnect first the red positive wire to the propulsion circuit board. Now that we have our positive wire connected back to the propulsion circuit board, we can remove our ground screw that was holding the propulsion circuit board in place. Now with the ground screw free, we can use it to reattach the ground wire to the propulsion circuit board. With the wires snug to the propulsion circuit board, remember to use your torque wrench and to tighten down to the listed torque specs that can be found in the instructions. Now that the power wires have been reconnected, if you have the transducer model, go ahead and connect the transducer cable. Now with the wires reconnected, we're ready to reattach the nose cone. Before doing so, remember to apply silicone grease to the bushings. Now with the nose cone in place, we can reinstall our rear motor cap by aligning the 4 screws into the brushless motor. Make sure when installing the rear motor cap that the arrow is facing upwards towards the top of the power pole move. With the rear motor cap in place, tighten the 4 screws in a star pattern. As you do this, you'll notice the nose cone pull tight to the motor. During this process, make sure that the bushings are not being pinched as the nose cone is being pulled towards the motor. Now that we have the 4 screws snug with our Phillips screwdriver, we're going to go back over them with our torque wrench. As you're doing this, you should see the nose cone is becoming flush with the edge of the brushless motor. And our final step is to reinstall the prop. Make sure you line up the pin with the back slot on our prop here. Tighten with your 9/16 deep socket until there's no play in the prop. And that is how you replace your brushless propulsion motor on your power pole move trolling motor. Thank you for watching.